I'm Oral Hershiser, and I am on Blue Review. Hey, this is Sean Green. You're watching the Blue Review.
Bang, 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 bang.
Bring. Yeah.
Sad bring.
Said bring on a Wednesday morning. Welcome everybody to the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That is Greg Bergman. Greg, same old story. Last night for the Dodgers, I guess.
Same old song and dance for the beginning of the season, but they got another one today. So I just hate it was against the Astros. If there's anybody, why did it have to be against the Astros?
Why the Astros? But a chance for them to win the series today in the finale. So we'll talk about last night. We'll look ahead to this afternoon. It is an early game today. So
really early game.
Really, really early game. So we'll get into that and plenty more. But first, I want to let you know that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. LAX is preparing for a huge win against traffic. The Skylink train is currently in testing to ensure it's a fast and reliable ride to every terminal. For more information, visit lawa.org/ESPN. All right, the Dodgers last night lose 2-1 to the Houston Astros at Daikin Park on a night where Shohei Ohtani was strictly a pitcher and not a hitter, and he gave up had the unforgivable sin, Greg, of giving up 2 whole runs to the Houston.
How dare he?
The first home runs he's allowed this year, gave up 1 to Christian Walker and 1 to something called Brendan Shoemake.
The ninth hitter, you mean? The ninth
hitter. that guy. But again, that was it. And he wasn't maybe at his best last night, but he goes through 7 innings. He gives up just the 2 runs on 4 hits. That's good enough to get a win, except for once again another night where the offense gives him nothing in support.
I feel like all of a sudden now that 2 runs is not enough. If you give up 2 runs, that the Lakers. I'm still thinking about last night. The Dodgers are out of it. 2 runs is basically all you need to be the Dodgers as of right now with this offense. Maybe there's going to be a game. It's always that worry, right? Where the day before they put up 8 runs, you're like, well, don't use all of the runs,
right?
Or the next day too. So, but it's early season and it's frustrating right now. It's the guys that you're going to see on the field aren't the ones that you're going to see later on down the line, like we talk about a lot. But can we talk about Christian Walker for a second? I just can't stand this man. He absolutely destroys the Dodgers. And I don't think it's not something that's a small sample size anymore either. He has 30 home runs in 95 games against the Dodgers. 30. He has an over 300 batting average of just home runs against the Dodgers. Just home runs. It's what he's doing against his team is insane. There was also a stat that they were talking about that he has hit a home run against the Dodgers 12 out of his last 13 games.
That's insane.
12 and you know when that one game was that he didn't hit a home run?
Was one Monday night,
Monday.
Right?
Monday was the first time in 12 games that he didn't hit a home run. So he said, whoa, I can't do that. I got to hit a home run the next day to make up for that. He is the biggest Dodger killer out there. He might be the biggest Dodger killer of all time at this point.
I'm trying to think, has he surpassed Paul Goldschmidt as a Dodger killer? Because Goldschmidt was up there too.
I'm going to look it up because I do want to know that because he absolutely destroyed him too. But I think over time, Goldschmidt fell off, whereas Christian Walker, it doesn't matter where he is. He just hits home runs off the Dodgers.
He just does. It's nuts to the point that I'm thinking maybe the Dodgers trade for him just for no other reason than that means he won't hit home runs against them anymore.
I mean, that's what they did with AJ Pollock, right? They're like, hey, you destroy us. Let's go get you.
Yeah. That didn't really work out.
No, the Kamenetskis always called him Bird Bones because he got injured. Which is a very funny name.
That's very funny.
Paul Goldschmidt against the Dodgers had 36 home runs in 166 games.
All right. So he's no Christian Walker, is what you're saying.
He's no, but he's still quite a lot of home runs against the Dodgers. Too.
Yeah. But I mean, that was the whole game. Walker hits a home run one inning. The next inning, Shoemake hits a solo home run. The Dodgers were able to scratch out a run in the later innings, but really nothing to show for it again. I mean, going through this, Will Smith 0 for 4. Teoscar Hernandez, who I don't think we've talked about right now, is really struggling at this point. He's not hitting for any power. No one on this team is really hitting for power at this point. They had the 2 home runs on Monday, no home runs last night. So that has sort of gone dry. But Teoscar not hitting for power, not really putting the ball in play with any real force or vigor. Of all the guys struggling, Teoscar, Greg, really is at the top of the list right now.
Yeah, he's been struggling a lot. We don't really talk. You're right. We haven't really talked about him because he had such a hot spring, and then he came out of the gate and he wasn't looking very good. Then he started to pick it up a little bit. You're like, okay, Teo's going to be back. He's doing a little bit better, and now he's back to where he was. But it's just hard to hit on one person when it comes to this offense right now because all of them are struggling. We finally get 2 home runs the day before, and then it could be you get nothing in the day after. I will say that they're hitting the ball hard. It's not so much just about the home runs. They're getting close, and especially at Daikin Park, they're hitting the ball pretty well. I saw a stat from who's this guy? The guy's name is Lawrence August. And the Dodgers only struck out 6 times last night. When they strike out 6 times or less, they're 5-7. When they strike out 7 times or more, they're 17-7. And they hit the ball.
What?
Which is a really weird stat, right? If you strike out more, you win more games. When you strike out less, you lose more games.
I don't understand this.
Baseball is so weird. So to go further, it's 147 runs in 24 games when they strike out 7 or more times, 6 runs per game. 37 runs in 12 games, 3 runs per game when they strike out 6 or less. I don't. If you can explain that to me,
I cannot.
Of that,
I cannot. I don't understand that. I guess. Yeah, I really don't. I'm trying to come up with some excuse or some logic as to why that is. I guess because when they're striking out more, it's because they're maybe being more aggressive. I don't know. I can't figure out what that is.
Yeah,
how that makes sense.
They hit the ball. They had a hard hit ball. So a hard hit ball is 95 miles an hour hit or more, right? 15 times last night they had a ball hit 95 or more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 over 100 miles an hour, and they only get 1 run. So I mean, it's just some of this is just bad luck because they are getting guys on base. They are hitting the ball hard. They're putting the ball in the air too, which is really nice. And they are just not getting anything to actually land. It's being hit right at guys. And for whatever reason, it's just not turning into runs, but they're doing all the right things and they're walking and they're doing things that you need to do to be successful. They just aren't getting the runs across. So law of averages are going to tell you eventually they're going to start putting those balls in play and eventually they're going to start putting up the runs. And yes, they are still somehow in first place.
Still in first place because the NL West as a whole was hot for a while, and now they're all tripping all over themselves just repeatedly. So whatever. It is what it is. I'm seeing in the chat our pal Dodger Dog who says the chat is turning on the team, and I'm not sure what you're reading, Dodger Dog, but I don't think anybody is turning on them. I think everybody's just frustrated and pointing out the fact that the offense isn't working. I don't consider that to be turning on the team. I think it's just what it is.
And do we have to say this again? It's a 162 game season.
Man.
We talk about it 5 days a week, and so we have to point out the things that aren't good.
And I mean, just for being honest, it hasn't been great for the last couple weeks at this point. I mean, they've been a below 500 team. Yep. Not because of the pitching. The pitching has been fantastic. This is still one of the best, if not the best, pitching staff, top to bottom, in Major League Baseball. The offense just has not come through yet. I did see a theory that, at least for Shohei, that he's dealing with dad tiredness. That his child is entering the terrible twos, and maybe he's not sleeping as much. Maybe that applies to Freddie Freeman as well, since he and his wife just brought a new baby home. Maybe some of these guys just. I mean, you know this. You're a dad. You went through it. I'm a dad. I went through it. Some days you're just dragging.
Kind of you are, especially at that age when they want to jump into your bed and they're able to get out of their crib or their day bed, or, the big girl bed or big boy bed, and they want to just sleep in your bed. That it causes some tiredness. But I mean, look, Freddie's starting to get some hits, and Shohei is somebody that he needs 13 hours of sleep. I think so.
It must be nice, right?
yeah, it must be nice. Seriously. So he's somebody that needs that sleep. So if that is taking away from it, short. But he was fantastic on the mound. I mean, besides the 2 home runs, he was doing things that he still had, I think, 8 strikeouts and only gave up those 4 hits. He went into the 7th, or he went through 7 innings. He still was at, I think, 95 pitches. He possibly could have gone into the 8th inning if they really wanted him to. This wasn't on Shohei at all. No. They just were getting hits. And did you see what he did to? If we were really happy about Correa striking out 3 times, I think I'm more happy that Altuve struck out 3 times.
I giggled out loud on the last one, the one with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Just a sweeper that. I don't think it was a strike out of Shohei's hand. I don't think that ball was ever in the strike zone. And for whatever reason, on a 3-2 pitch, maybe he was just desperate to drive in the runs. Altuve swung at a pitch that was pretty much in the Astros dugout last night. And I will be honest with you and say that I audibly giggled when I saw that yesterday.
No, absolutely. So Rob Freeman, pitching ninja, we talked about a good amount. He put out a tweet that if he used himself as a bat, they still may not have hit that ball. It was a picture of him holding himself instead of the bat, as holding his leg and swinging him and
swinging himself.
Barely touched
I think he at best would have fouled it off. I don't know that even if he used himself as the bat, I don't know that he would have been able to put that ball in play. Just that's how bad of a pitch it was. But thanks for that, because it got them out of the inning. Otherwise, it who knows? It could have been 3-4-0 at that point, which once upon a time felt like a really it felt doable. Right now, it's a struggle. This team's down 2 runs, and it feels like it's pulling teeth to get them back in. Although I say that, Greg, but every time, if it's a 2-run deficit and they get a guy on base, in my head, I'm like, all right, we'll just hit a jack here and we're tied. And I still believe at some point that something like that's going to happen, and this team's going to just find itself and start putting up runs again.
I thought it was going to happen last night. I think when it's only a 2-run game, for sure, I think they're going to hit a home run. Max Muncy's going to come up with a guy on base and make it 3-2, or he's going to tie the game. It just feels like that's always going to happen, and that's why you stick around and you watch the entire game, because this team is never truly out of it, and I think they have the offensive firepower to do it, to be able to get back into these games. It's just not landing right now. By the way, Tim, thank you for having the video ready after I talk about it. We already talked about the pitching. The video no longer makes sense anymore, but I appreciate you guys paying attention back there. It's okay. It's okay. You brought it up. That's all I'm saying. I was going to leave it alone. But yeah, the team's never out of it. It's a struggle right now. Again, it's early May. I think all these things are going to work themselves out. It's just they play so much baseball, and I know these all sound like excuses, but they played so much baseball over the last few years, and even going back to 2017, 2016, even they played a lot of baseball, and it's maybe not all the same guys, but when you play that much, you're going to be tired at the beginning of the season. So it's good. Well, this is going to be a common theme for a little while of offense being a struggle.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of what it is right now. I will say, outside of the game action, there is some news around the team. Kike Hernandez expected to start a rehab stint in Oklahoma City sometime this week. Maybe it's today. I'm not sure if they sent him yesterday, but Dave Roberts did say that they expect this week that Kike is going to
Thursday.
begin rehabbing, and they are hoping he's going to be back soon. In fact, they are saying that he is maybe ahead of schedule, so that's potentially another utility guy that is back for this team very soon. In this bizarro season that is, would you be surprised if Kike starts hitting during the regular season while everybody else is slumping versus what's normal?
Look, as long as somebody is hitting, the problem is when you have the entire team slumping, it's the problem. Like even Andy Paez, who had 3 hits last night, were not some like massively strong, hard hit balls. They were all little dribbles and just kind of found holes. Alex Call had a hit that was just like down the left side that just happened to get through. It's just, if Kike Hernandez comes back and is hitting, it's a welcome sight. Somebody just has to get on base.
Yeah.
Getting some big hits, please.
Somebody, please. So that's the good news. The bad news is it appears Tommy Edman is going to be delayed even further. He had a setback in his recovery, so the team is sort of slowing his pace down at this point. I know Dave Roberts said they don't consider this to be anything serious, but it is disappointing, I think, is sort of how they feel about it right now. And, there's not really much they can do about it besides letting Edman rest. I know we've been talking about this. It feels more and more like Santiago Espinal is the odd man out when some of these, at least he's the first one out when some of these guys come back. And I know we were talking about his at-bat last night in the 9th inning, which was about as bad as an at-bat as I've seen in a long time from anybody.
What was he doing? I mean, it was so. I get some people not wanting to challenge because of who they are and was saving it for other things. There was one out in the top of the 9th inning, right, and a ball that was above his head. He didn't challenge and went to 0-2 instead of being 1-1. It's like, what? And then he struck out on 3 pitches,
and then had a terrible swing on the 3rd pitch.
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah. But like, how are you not? You have 2 challenges. What are you going to do with the challenges? Are you hoping that with 2 outs, the guy's going to have to challenge a few times? I just don't understand what the point of that was. And those are the types of things that, especially with a team that's struggling and not being able to drive in runs, you need as many pitches as possible. And especially for a guy that was pitching in his 2nd inning and it was a lefty-righty matchup, none of it made sense to me. Just challenge that right there. If Santiago Espinal, who was great in spring training, is DFA'd, I don't think anybody's going to bat an eye. We're going to look at it and be like, oh, remember when Santiago Espinal was on this team? That's what they had to deal with.
It'll be like, when earlier in the week I saw Esteury Ruiz get his World Series ring. I was like, oh, that's right. He was there for a little bit. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what that's going to be like. So, yeah, I mean, at this point, Espinal is barely getting off the bench except in those sort of pinch hit opportunities. Every once in a while he seems to get a start. I think he's made 6 starts so far this year. I don't even know if it's that many, but he very much feels like the first guy who is going to be on the move when the Dodgers start getting guys back. It's happening. Kike's, like I said, rehabbing. Blake Snell's already made a couple of rehab starts, so he could be back within the next week or 2 perhaps. So that'd be great. I mean, not that it's bad to have more pitching, but again, like we said, pitching is not the problem with this team right now.
No, it is definitely. So, I mean, that gets me thinking just in the future. So as of right now, if you were, let's say everybody has healthy. So Mookie's back. I don't want to say Tommy's healthy because that's going to be a little bit rough on when he's going to be back. I don't think it's the end of May anymore. It's probably going to be pushed back. What do you think this team currently needs if they were going to go find something in the trade deadline? I know it's a long ways away, but if they currently, if you could trade for someone right now, what position or what would you be looking for?
Oh man. Right? Yeah, that's a hard one because really what this team needs is just for the guys who are here to start performing. I don't see any real blatant holes. I mean, I guess no, because even in theory, if once Mookie is back, if Freeland is struggling, you can still move Kim to second base if you need to. You still have Miguel Rojas who can play some second base for you when you need to. So, I think that is maybe one of their holes right now, but even that is sort of minor.
All minor.
Yeah, it's all minor. I mean, I think what you would want again is just the guys that are in your lineup to start hitting. It's for Will Smith to pick. Well, I mean, he's actually played pretty well, but it's for the Teos to start hitting. It's for the guys, for Shohei to look like Shohei again. It's for Mookie to come back and start hitting the way we know he can. That's not really something you can trade for. It's just something you wish and work on and hope to start happening soon.
So basically, I agree with you if you're saying this, that you're sticking with this team. This is the team that's going to win the World Series again for the third year in a row. You're sticking with this team. I agree with it. It just you have all of the pieces. The pieces just have to play the way they need to. And like Shohei, I understand he only has 6 home runs and he hasn't been hitting, but I'm not going to be surprised if he goes on a tear in May or in June, and by the end of the year is sitting at 40, 50 home runs. It's just early, and he's focusing heavily on pitching right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all certainly within the realm of possibility, and I think we're going to see some of these guys. I mean, this team is too good. There's too much talent here for this team to struggle offensively like this all year long. I think we get excited when we see nights like Monday and they put up 8 runs, and we're thinking, okay, well, maybe this is what gets them going again. And then they followed up with 1 run on Tuesday. That part gets a little frustrating and old, but I don't think anybody has given up hope or faith or think we need to start just completely rearranging furniture in the clubhouse because of it. It just, it's just one of those things that hasn't quite happened yet. And again, through it all, they're still in first place. They're still 8 games over 500. They still have the 3rd best record in the National League. So, and to your point, that I know you've like to remind us of this, when the Yankees won the 3rd of their 3 World Series, they won 85 games. So
85 games, yeah. And I'm like, really, there is something at the beginning, before the season started, one of the big talking points was that this team is older, that they are, it is, the average age is probably around like 30, 32. And that's probably on the low end, to be honest with you. These guys are a little bit older and have been around for a really long time. So you have that veteran presence and that veteran stability that will eventually start hitting. But an injection of youth would be very helpful, which I think what you're getting that with Ha-Seong Kim and Alex Freeland, and Kyle Tucker's even not, he's 28, 29 years old. Yeah. So he's a little bit, but that's the guy. I think that's the guy that needs to be the stabilizing force right now, is that somebody that has not been here very much to really show out and come in and start hitting the ball really well and start kind of carrying the team. Shohei carried the team the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's hyperbole to say that without Shohei, you weren't doing anything in those 2 regular seasons, because he had to deal with all the different types of injuries that happen. Now somebody has to help out Shohei, who has been struggling a little bit at the plate. It has to be Kyle Tucker. I think that's the guy that needs to come in and really just show out and be the guy to carry the team.
Would be nice. I mean, obviously that was sort of the hope that when he came in here, he would be the next piece of the puzzle. Hadn't quite worked out that way, but we shall see. So today, 11:10 a.m. first pitch from Houston for the series finale. Very early. So I'd say set your alarms, but it's 11 o'clock. You should be up.
You'll be awake.
You should be awake already. Tyler Glass now gets the ball for the Dodgers. He has been very good so far this year, going against Lance McCullers Jr. I will warn you, Greg, that McCullers has an ERA of 6.32. So do with that what you will.
Well, the guy last night, Marcus, I mean, they were kept talking about over and over again how he was the worst pitcher in baseball from like 2016 to 2024, and he just shoved.
7 innings.
I know he's been better this year, but at the same, like, he's been the worst and got destroyed by the Dodgers over and over again. But he was great last night because it just. And Lance McCullers, over his history, has pitched really well against the Dodgers too.
Yay! So last night you get 7 shutout innings from Pete Lambert with just the 3 hits. So we'll see. Today is a new day. Today's a chance for the Dodger offense to get things going in the right direction again, win the series, and come back home for what's going to be a really big series coming up against the Atlanta Braves over the weekend. Braves right now, the best record in all, best record in all of baseball. So big weekend series coming up at Dodger Stadium. Hopefully the Dodgers can come into it with a little bit of momentum, and that starts with getting a win today in the finale against the Houston Astros. But that will do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. Stick around for the Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up right after us. Thanks to Tim for production assistance. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out with us. We always appreciate you getting up in the morning and just chilling with us. So we will see you tomorrow. For Greg, I am Marcus. We'll be back 6:30 to 6:55 right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See ya.
See ya.